So, good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining today. Today we will have a session about new PRAESENSA Firmware 2.20 and also our new audio I/O interface module, the IM2A2, which is in addition to the PRAESENSA portfolio. So, if you have any questions, please post them in the chat at the end of the presentation. Make sure that you send them to all panelists so that we can look at it and try to find the right answers for you. So today, myself, Maarten Winks, I'm Marketing Manager in EMEA for Public Address Voice Alarm. I'm presenting here together with my colleague, Anton Thiele, who is Application Design Engineer for Public Address and Voice Alarm. So what we want to achieve today in our objectives is that give you an understanding about the features of the PRAESENSA 2.2 firmware release, but also give you an introduction about this new hardware module that we have that is then also supported by this new software. And also we would like to give you an update on the other changes that are in the software next to the addition of this module. So a short review of the topic. So first introduction and welcome. Then we will have a short commercial overview. And then we will look at the features, a short demonstration. And we will look a bit at the other features that come with the firmware. And then we do wrap up and Q&A. So let's start with the commercial overview. So this is the module. It's an Omnio module that will be part of the PRAESENSA family. It is fully IP, so as on all other family members, you can simply connect it in the PRAESENSA system, in the ecosystem. It is running Omnio, just as any of the other devices, which is a protected digital audio communication between all the nodes in the PRAESENSA network. So this device, you install it on a DIN rail, either in a rack, or you can also install it somewhere in the field. It is a device that interfaces external audio into the system, or brings audio from the PRAESENSA system externally. There are two modes in which this can be done. Either this module can run in the Dante mode, so then it is a Dante in-out interface, or you can run it in an analog mode, and then you have analog inputs and outputs on the device. Next to that, there are also some inputs for supervision, and there are also some relay outputs which can be used to trigger something. Anton will show a little bit more about that later on. Also, this module has integrated DSP. So in the module itself, you can optimize the sound for the devices that are connected. It is supporting 48 phantom microphone power option, so you don't need an extra power supply. The power comes through the device for the microphone. This device will be EN54 certified, so it is part of the certified environment. And we will also certify it for maritime applications. So this means it will be MAD certified for maritime. Yeah, as you see on the next slide, with this module, we actually have a nice addition to a concept that we call audio beyond safety. So PRAESENSA is a system which offers excellent sound quality. And we already had really a few nice elements which allows you to use the PRAESENSA system also for commercial use cases, like the RPAS, for instance, where you can connect mobile clients to do playment of background music from the call station. You can also collect music lists. We have the ambient noise sensor to tune the volume in an environment like a trade show hall or in the meeting room, that you really have the nice ambience that is matching the ambient noise. We have the wall control panel where you can select the music sources. And then now, in addition, we also have the I/O interface that you can really bring external audio into the system, or you can connect another device that is taking audio from the system. What you can also, for instance, do, you see here the meeting room. If you would now connect a Dante or an analog microphone, you can simply connect it through this interface to the PRAESENSA system, and then you can hear the speech of the presenter through the ceiling loudspeakers, which saves you an additional system for the presenter in the room. Also, something interesting to know with this new firmware, we will now have the APAS enabled on the small system controller. Before we did not have this. So now also for smaller systems where you are using the small system controller, you are fully featured, and you can also use the APAS functionality to connect the mobile clients to the system. So as you see on the next slide, there is actually a bit more coming with this release. It's not only the two main functionalities that I just mentioned, so the connection of the audio interface as also the APAS, but maybe Anton, you can run us through the details here.
Yes, okay, thanks Maarten for your introduction. Yes, this release 2.20 will add the support for the audio interface module, but besides that also now has a feature to update the as an update to the backup settings, as it is now possible to backup and restore the recorded messages and user credentials together in one file. And this recorded message can have then a size limit of 240 MB. And so update to the recorded message settings, so it is now possible to import also the messages in bulk to the system controller. So it means that you can, instead of what you now have to do, that you have to select files individually to upload, it is possible to at once select them together, and then at once they will be loaded into the controller. So it saves you time to load them. The update is there also of the open interface client settings, as it is now possible to prevent the open interface, or our API, client from starting emergency calls. So you are in control here to indicate if these clients are allowed to start emergency priority calls or not. And and if they are then able to acknowledge and reset from an emergency status. The implementation there is also of a new password policy. So you can now define by yourself the minimum length of the password, the minimum number of digits which you require, and the number of special characters in the password. So that are the main features, besides the APAS compatibility, which Maarten already mentioned. So let's go to the audio module. So it has a number of indicators and controls. So on the left side of the modules, you see is the upper part of it zoomed in here. So the power on LED, which can be green or yellow in case they have a fault present, so that's the power on. You have your device fault in yellow, so there's this one here. You have your link to the system controller, which is green or yellow in case you get a network link issue. And there is a reset button for which you need to have a sharp tool to be able to reset the device. At the right side, you now have the indicators for the activation of the phantom power. So you can see that here, these ones are for the input 1 and 2 available. You have the signal indicator. So that means if there is a signal present, this will show here. It also will show an overload or a connection fault. In case then that will show yellow. So if you have a fault on the signal itself, then you have your audio of your control input contact closed. So that will lit up for you have two control inputs. They will lit up green in case they are activated, or yellow in case there is an audio input fault, control input fault. These control inputs can be supervised, so you can have then two 10K resistors at the source at the contact in order to supervise the line. Then you have the audio output signal present, indicating here in green or in yellow if there's an audio output limited activated, so on 1.N2, and then you have the control output here. So the arrow up is always out. It's like when you have a can or something where you put something in, then it's down. When you take it out, then it's the arrow is up, then it's out. That's a general indicator in PRAESENSA. So here also, this means a control out. Yeah, when you look at the second part of the module, all still at the front, there you have the two network connections, the Omnio network connections, which also source the power so you need to have a power source, a PoE power source device in order to power this device. So it doesn't have a separate power connection. It's really powered over Ethernet. So you can use either an PoE insert, or if you want to be fully compliant with EN54, you use either our ESAP2S certified switch, which is then powered from our multifunction power supply, or you have the direct ports 1 and 2 of the multifunction power supply, which also can source these devices in case you want to stay EN54 compliant. Yeah, then you have the audio inputs and audio outputs. So you have your input lines here visible, and your control inputs, and you have your control outputs lines being made visible here as well, for both 1 and for 2. Yeah? So there's also a functional ground here to be connected, and yeah, that's basically everything here. The backside, you only have then a DIN rail connector, I would say, which you can then easily install it somewhere in a rack on a DIN rail. Yeah. It comes together with control connections. So for the control inputs and control outputs, you have these supervision resistors, which I already mentioned. If you want to have the control input supervised, you should connect them in such a way that you have these resistors in place. If you don't have or not using these resistors, you only want to have it unsupervised, then switch off the supervision in the configuration, and then you can directly connect it to the control inputs of the unit. Yeah, the control outputs are at a larger connector at the lower side, where you can then connect your something which you want to activate by the control outputs. So that's something which then, for example, could be an LED, but what's mentioned here. But you can also have an other device, another unit triggered by this control outputs. The audio connections are these upper ones here, where you can then connect a microphone, for example, or a line inputs, and it also will supply phantom power for the microphone. And then you have also the audio outputs, so all balanced audio is provided here. So yeah, let's give a short demonstration on how this looks like. So what I would like to show you first is to use a condenser microphone with phantom power to make a call into PRAESENSA. Yeah, so and then next I will show you the audio activated output function, then the configuration of the pilot tone supervision and the digital mode. As I didn't tell you yet, yeah, this audio interface module has two modes, so it can either be analog, or you can also set it in a digital mode in order to get two additional digital outputs in your system. And digital means that you have Dante input or Dante output in your system additionally, or two Dante outputs or to Dante inputs. Yeah. So furthermore, I will show you the open interface settings, which I mentioned at the beginning, to avoid against the possibility for third-party clients to activate emergencies. You can now set this and configure this, and the password policies and bulk upload. So let's go first now to the condenser microphone. So I have here a setup. You see here at the left side an audio I/O module where I have a control output relay connected to this flashlight, just to show you that the trigger works properly here. I have a standard microphone with phantom powered from this unit. There's also a connection from this device going to this. Yeah, the use case here is now not directly that you need this here, but just to show you that you can make a supervised connection from this audio output of this device into the audio input of this. Yeah, and then we have here a call station which I show you just to that it can also trigger this flashlight. So let's first go for the microphone. When I enable when I open the microphone, you see already an LED going on. So that means that it detects the signal. Even now, when I talk too loud, you see that it becomes orange. Then it will be overloaded. So you might need to adapt then your signal. Yeah. So, but it also will trigger. It will trigger a contact if you're and you can say then on a timeout. It's now configured for 2 seconds timeout until the relay goes down again. So when I switch it off, and then you see that also the contact goes out. So the low on LED was the control output, and that was the analog signal which you see there. So in this way, you could just use this microphone as a normal call station in your system. You could also adapt the volume, of course, then through a wall control panel, for example. The other idea is of using audio activated output functions like from this call station. When I would here make a live speech, you can see that the audio, based on the audio that I'm talking, now also activates this flashlight. And when I stop, then it doesn't. So it will really trigger on the moment that I'm talking, as you can see here. Another illustration of this is by having a tone, and this also it could be a use case in the maritime world, where based on the audio source, like I have here a sirene for every second, and then you can see only when the sound is active, it will also then activate that relay in order to be in sync with the alert message or with the evacuation message which is played. Yeah. So these are basically the functions, and there are many more, but what I would like to demonstrate here. When you look in the, let's go to the configuration page. I have now in the system composition, I have added these audio I/O modules. So I have this PRAESensa now as new device when I add this module. And to indicate which one is which, we have this identification. So when I switch this on, you can also see it in the at the front here, that you know which one you are configuring. So now it's blinking at the left side. If I switch this off and I will activate this one, and I show it now again, then you see the right one. So you always know on which one you're working on. Yeah. So these are the composition of that. You have your device options of your audio interface module, where I need to check the right one here. Audio I/O module, And here you have the expected PoE inputs. As you have seen, we have 2 PoE inputs. If you want to have them supervised, then you can tell them that you have 2 of them, and in order to also give there a message in case you lose one. Yeah, the audio mode, analog or digital. So in this case, this module is configured as an analog device, which means that you have analog audio inputs. I have here this microphone, which I just showed, connected to this, activated with the phantom power. I have a pretty high sensitivity in order to directly trigger the contact, and you saw also that it was overloaded, just to show you this. Yeah, you have the possibility to also configure audio outputs on the unit, and with a particular output level, and also do then pilot tone generation in case you want to supervise that audio output. Yeah? And then you have your control inputs and control outputs, where here this is the interesting new one, that's the audio activated output, which is now there in order to trigger an action based on the audio which is exposed on the audio output. Yeah? That's the basic feature for this one. Now I'm still already here. Let me also show you the digital mode, because here I have the same module, the second one, which I have configured as a digital, in a digital audio mode, just for you to show the difference now in features, because now you have here additional virtual audio inputs outputs, and it means that you have now 2 Dante channels, 2 Dante audio channels available, which you can configure as input or output. So if you want to, for example, the small system controller only has 8 Dante outputs. If you want to extend them with 2 of them, then you add such module, and you have then 2 additional Dante outputs in your system. Yeah? And then still the same is that you can make your announcements or through control inputs, or all the other features which we have for these control inputs. Yeah? Same for control outputs, where you have the different type of functions. Yeah. Furthermore, maybe in the audio processing, I can show you here the audio interface module, where you now have your audio output and your audio output settings here. If you want to use your audio activated output, you can set a threshold and a hold time. I just mentioned I had a hold time set for 2 seconds, but of course it can also be much shorter. That was for the microphone. I used 2 seconds here in order to not have it responded so quickly. But you can also have a shorter, like for the flashlight. I have a 50 milliseconds hold time only, that it immediately responds on the hold time. So you can really adapt that according to your needs. Yeah, these are the main features which I was demonstrating. Yeah, you have the pilot tone setting. Maybe that's something which I did not show you yet. In the audio interface module, you have here also this pilot tone generation and pilot tone, and at the audio input, you can have your pilot tone detection. Yeah. So, and with that, you can adjust then the threshold and the pilot tone frequency on which you want to transmit your pilot tone into the line. Yeah, for the digital mode, as mentioned, you have now 2 additional outputs, which means also that you can then add that device. What you see here now additionally is you have these 2 additional channels, which you could then assign to another source in that case. When I go to the configuration itself, so then besides the analog analog I/O module, I would like to show you in the system options the option now for the recorded messages. So you can see here now that you have I have here many uploaded, but you can see now the total amount of recorded messages which are there. And you can also now select a number of devices together, and then at once they will be added to this list. So that's then there an easy way to do that. When you go to the system settings, there is now another feature, which is the open interface disable emergency control. So if you would enable this, then it will disable the emergency control for open interface. Open interface is the API, the processing interface, application processing interface for third-party clients. So if you do not want to allow any third party to enable emergency priority calls, then you can check this box, and else you leave the responsibility at the password policies and access of that third party. Yeah. That's this password policy itself, which you can now change. So you can have up to 64 characters of password policy length to set with the number of digits, which you can select also, and the number of special characters which you want to choose there. So you can make it as complex as you like to get a higher level of security here. Now, this was basically everything I would like to explain on the new features of PRAESENSA 2.20. So I now would like to open the floor for possible questions.
Okay, Anton, thank you. Let me see, have a look at the questions. Okay. Yeah, there are some questions. Let me move up. Okay, is it also possible to switch audio activated relay on the MPS?
No, that's not possible on the MPS. It's really a feature which is part of this IM2A2 module.
Okay, then there is a question, is there a limit on how many IM2A2 modules can be connected on a single controller?
There's not a direct limit. The only thing is that it is, of course, part of the total amount of devices which you can control in a system. And we advise to have that up to 150 devices. And that's then also the limit on how many devices you can use in that system.
Yeah, it's the node limitation,
Yeah,
which is leading here. Okay, then could you show how much input and output levels can be adjusted? I think, yeah, go ahead.
You have 2 inputs and 2 outputs on this device. So it's the IM2A2, so that means 2 inputs and 2 outputs.
Okay. When you use audio input with the pilot tone supervision for a call, will the pilot tone be filtered out on the system output?
Filtered out on the, I'm not sure this. I need to check this. If it's yeah, you can have, of course, your you can filter it out, because that's done on the outputs. When maybe let me show this to you. When I go to the audio processing of the audio interface module, let's assume this here is the audio output. So here you can, if you want to filter out here your pilot tone, you can use the settings here to disable that.
Yeah, okay. It's through the bandwidth filter.
Correct.
Okay. Can you tell when this firmware will be available? Well, actually, the firmware is released now, so it should be available for download.
Yes, it's already available on the regular Bosch site. So there is also a kind of shortcut site there. It's not yet updated. So it's in the licensing.boschsecurity.com. and then /public address. There it is not yet available, but when you go to the regular Bosch site, then you can download it already.
Okay. Good. What will happen with the existing passwords when the policy is implemented?
Yeah, the existing passwords will remain. The same for this controller, which I here updated. I can still, I have still here yeah, how do you say this? One which is not compliant to that policy, as it was already created. So it will not disable that password for logging in. So, but of course, when you update it, then yeah, it must be compliant to the policy.
Thank you for the presentation and also the demonstration. Nicely prepared. And then I would like to thank you all for your participation. Wish you all a good season with your family, and hope to see you all next year. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Bye bye.